Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Today marks the second day of the Region 1 track championships here in Florida. I say the second day because things are quite different from the way it was when I ran high school track. If you go all the way back to 2012, that is the last year of the old format of the way track was done here in North Florida. You win your district or you qualify District 1 through 4, and if you made it to the next round, which is the regional, then you will go to an individual site where you will meet up with the same qualifiers from the other 3 districts in your region. For instance, if you don't know, Florida generally has 16 districts, 4 regions, 4 districts per region. And the top 4 in each event qualify to go compete against the top 4 qualifiers in the rest of the other regional members, which is you got 16 districts at Region 1, District 1 through 4. The qualifiers from those events all meet together at a single event. My last 2 regionals when I was in school was in Tallahassee. But in 2012, I was not in the Jacksonville area per se. I was more in the Gainesville area, and that school had to be in Region 2. We went down to Orlando, competed in that district. But then when we came to the next year, the regionals were not held in Orlando. They were brought to Jacksonville, meaning that we were in Region 2, but the meet was held in the Region 1 territory. What had happened was Bowes had somehow gotten a contract where they will host both regions, Regions 1 and 2. And get this, they're hosting them both at the same time. So when I saw that this was going to happen, I was trying to figure out, well, how are they going to pull off a double regional on the same day? Well, come to find out, it worked great. Because if you know anything about the regions, you have your prelims, you have the preliminary events to narrow it down to the finals, final 8. And how it works is there was always a large gap of time between the prelims ending and the finals, which generally started about 7 o'clock. So now with the double regional, you got double set of prelims, which is two heats. Now you got 4 heats per prelim event. By the time all that was done, you're looking at 5:30, 5:45. So the difference in the wait time is very minimal. So once the finals ran, 2 heats, 1 final per each regional, by 9 o'clock we were out of there. I thought it worked great. But the fact that they had the foresight to even think of something like that makes me wonder, what's in it for Bowes? Bowes had to be making a lot of money from the state to host that double event. And UNF, they had to be watching. Because after Bowes stopped doing the double regionals, UNF picked it up. Why would UNF want to do something like that? Well, the big thing I could come up with is publicity. Up until the early 2000s, UNF was considered a commuter school. You know, people go to work, they go take some classes after they get off work, and then they go on from there. But since then, UNF is like blowing up on steroids. It's never going to be as big as University of Florida or Florida State, but it's getting up there close to the area of Central Florida if they're not on equal footing with Central Florida. I say no because they refuse to get a football team over there, but that's another story. But you got to realize that something has to be in it for these universities to want to host these high school events. They got to be making some kind of money. I know they're making good parking money because if you don't get a parking pass over there, they're going to get you. They're making a whole bunch of money just off parking alone. But the big thing, that publicity, that's been huge for the university. So now, not only do they have the regional events, they host the state track meets, and they somehow wrestled the Bob Hayes from Raines and taking it over there. So UNF is now the mecca of high school track in Northeast Florida. Go figure. But it's got to be something in it other than publicity and the parking money that's making UNF want to take time out to expand themselves in that area. The other thing that is taking place today, you have the regional baseball playoffs begin. Now, I was flipping through the playoff brackets and I was trying to see who the opponents were for the two teams that came out of my district. Well, as I looked, I noticed that there was only one. And as I looked closer at other regions, it was the same thing. So in short, baseball seems to be the only sport in the state that doesn't have a runner-up or non-district winner to qualify for the playoffs. I thought that to be very strange. Basketball has it. Football definitely has it. And you can basically say track has it, because if you don't win the district, then you're going to go straight to a region if you're in the top four. So when you think about it, every sport has a runner-up qualifier except baseball. And I'm trying to figure out how that came to be. But the only answer I can come up with is baseball, just like track and field, they don't produce the revenue such as a football or basketball. So what do? They try to hurry up and get it over with. Now they can justify baseball with saying, well, this is the end of the school year and we need to hurry up and get this over with so we can get our graduation and it doesn't tie people too much up on that end. But justify how you want, you still can't tell me as a baseball coach why, if I'm a runner-up in the district, I can't go to the playoffs when I watch countlessly the teams that might be 5-22 make the playoffs in basketball because they got second place in their district tournament. It don't seem to make a whole lot of sense. But when you start counting dollars and you start looking at schools like UNF, it's got to be that these sports don't make a whole lot of money and there's a way to hurry up and get them over with. Personally, I like the one and done. If you don't win a district championship, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. And it should be that way in football. But since football makes a whole lot of money, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Or go back to the way it was when I was in school. That's the way it was. If either you won a district championship or you went home or played basketball or whatever else you did. And I really think that's the way it is because that's the way life is. But if you're a powerful baseball lobby like schools that win all the time and you somehow got second place in your district and you didn't make the playoffs, you got a good case to take to the state to say, look, runner-ups need to be in the district tournament in the regional playoffs also. But that's up to them. I'm too far away from that right now. But if I ever get to that point, then that's a point I will definitely try to make. So that's all I want to talk about today, the regional track meets and the baseball, and show you how revenue plays a big part in both sports. This has been Sports for Real.